This is story time. Today I'm going to talk to you about a social and a behavioral psychological kind of experiment. So this experiment involves 5 monkeys that were in an observation room, a experimental room. So first the scientist put in a ladder inside the cage or inside the room, and the monkeys probably reacted curiously and start climbing it, and nothing happened. The next thing that the scientists did was to put a banana on top of that ladder, and since the monkeys had already been acquainted with the ladder and nothing bad happened, so they start climbing the ladder. And as soon as they started climbing the ladder, one of them started climbing the ladder, the rest of the monkeys were showered with ice cold water. So the monkey that was climbing immediately stepped down, and every time that they tried to climb the ladder, the ice cold water came. Every time, no matter how hungry they were. So they associated the ladder with ice cold water. So what the scientists did was that they took one of the monkeys out and replaced it with another monkey who had no memory or no experience about the ladder or the cold water. So what he did, or it did, was he saw the bananas and start climbing. So instead of ice cold water coming down from the ceiling or whatever, the monkey started beating and yelling and becoming all violent towards that monkey, and that monkey had no idea why they were acting this way. And every time that monkey tried to climb the ladder, they would react in the same way, because they had it in their subconscious that ladder is connected to pain, ice cold water. So the next day or the following days, they replaced another monkey who had no idea about the ladder, who had no experience about the ice cold water, and he did the same thing. He tried to climb the ladder, and the 3 of them, even the one who got beaten, who had no experience, joined into the beating. So they replaced one after another, and the ones who got replaced, they were acting the same thing, the same way that the previous inhabitants or the previous monkeys who had been experienced the ice cold water. As soon as someone touched the ladder, they would get violent and very aggressive towards that new monkey. So the moral of this story, if someone would have asked these monkeys, why are you acting like this? Probably some of them would have said, it's just the way it is. It is what it is. But the moral of the story is that even fear, to be fearful, it takes courage. What I mean by this is, even if fear is contagious, so is courage. So for you to break a pattern, even if you are the monkey who stepped into that room and you were handled with that violence, you could say no to that violence and to give that violence to someone else. So for you to be courageous, that could be contagious as well. The second moral of the story is, in order to evolve as species, as humans, or as individuals, or as spiritual beings, we need to challenge the system within and also the system without. And the third moral of the story is, blind imitation kills progress. Because just think about it. If the first one who got beaten would have just said, no, I don't want to partake in this violence, and the next one who came would have said the same thing, okay, they would have been excluded from the group, but they were replaced one after another. So there was progress. Thank you for listening, and thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing this story. Take care. God bless.